In this video, we're going to look at ServiceNow HRSD, a solution for not having an HTML field in the collect employee input or the employee forms. So I have an article here on my blog outlining the solution and the why of the solution. Let's first take a look at the problem. So if we go into employee forms, and employee forms are basically survey design or a survey with different labels. If we want to, let's say we want to ask the employee for a few paragraphs, or we need some substantial input. So the best we can do here in the employee forms is the string field. And in the string field, you can specify a multi-line string field. But that gives us basically just a blank, just a bare text field, right? If we go here to new string, we do have a multi-line text field, but it's kind of bare. You can't do any formatting, bullet points, bold, that kind of stuff. And when this appears in Employee Center, it's even smaller. It looks halfway decent here, but in Employee Center, it's even smaller. So if you're asking for anything beyond a sentence or two, this is generally not going to provide the best user experience. So really what we want is an HTML field. And I have one popped up here. Let's see if this is the right one. Yeah, right here. So in this case for Able Tutor, I have a task here, provide justification, and here we have an HTML box. So here I'm actually using a submit catalog item HR task instead of a collect employee input. And so this video, or the rest of this video, is going to look at how I accomplish this. So I'll just be following my article here, and we'll just look at the few different pieces to this. So the first is a record producer. And okay, so I'll say the sort of fictional case that I have here is it is a HR account access service, and we need to ask the employee for justification for their request. Not the best use case or example case, because normally you'd ask for justification up front, but let's say for whatever reason we couldn't do that, so we need to ask for it once the case is already in progress. So the first piece to the puzzle here is the record producer. And the record producer here, I have it up here. So this record producer is going to produce a record on the same table that the original case is on. So this is actually going to produce a new record. And this new record, this new case, is really just a kind of a temporary holding area for the information, because we're going to take that information that was provided by the user and put it back onto the parent case. In this case, we're going to put it in the work notes. But normally you'd take that and put it into some HTML field on the parent. So I'm creating a case here in the same table. And in the script, I'm doing a couple of things. I'm setting the value of the short description to provide a justification response. And we'll see a little bit later on, we're going to use this to go back and find this record that was created. And then I'm doing a portal redirect because, like I said, the case that's created as a result of this record producer is not really substantial. It's not really, I mean, you can even delete it when you're done. So I don't want to send the employee back to, I don't want to send the employee to this case. I want to send them back to the parent case. So that's what this portal redirect does. And then I just have an info message here that the task was completed. If we go down to the variable, so there's only one variable, it's an HTML. And this variable is mapped to a field on this new case that will be created, and it's going to go into the description, into the rich description field, which is also an HTML field. This makes it nice and easy to pop it out of there and bring it into the parent case with the flow. Okay, so that's the record producer. Next, we'll look at the subflow. So this is the subflow. It takes as an input the just one input, the case. This is the case that we're creating, that we're calling this flow from. This is a reference type. And so the first step is we're going to create a task, the HR task. So we define the parent as the input case. The short description, this is just the short description of the task, provide justification for system access. The HR task type is going to be submit catalog item. So this is not collect employee input as it normally would be. This is submit catalog item. And then down here, the catalog item that we are going to call up is the provide justification. That's the one we just created in that record producer. The assign to is the open for from the case. And the state is going to go, it's going to go into the ready state. I checked this box wait so that this step waits for the task to be completed before it continues. I also, so in step 2, I have another wait condition just for 10 seconds. This might not be necessary. I just want to make sure that the record producer actually produces the record, that the record is created. So I stick this additional wait for 10 seconds just to make sure the dust is settled on that record. Now I'm going to go in step 3, I'm going to look up the record that was created in step 1 using the record producer. And so it's going to go looking up that HRIT operations case table where the parent is the input case that we started from. The record is active. It was created after 1 minute ago, so it was just created. And the short description, remember we set that in the record producer. Now we're going to go look for it. Starts with provide justification. So I went a little nuts on the conditions. Probably don't need all these conditions. Even just a parent is the case and created 1 minute ago is probably sufficient. But I do have these additional conditions on there. Okay, in step 4, now we're going to take the data that was provided in the record producer and was dumped into the case, and then we're going to bring it up to that parent case. So we see that we take the we go and update the original the originating case here, the parent case, and in the work notes we take and you can see this is step 3. This is from the lookup record that we got in step 3. We take whatever was in the rich description field and we dump it into the work notes. So again, you probably are going to want to put this into some other field, an HTML field, but I didn't want to create a new field just for this demo, so I just stick it in the work notes. And then in step 5, we go and update the temporary HRIT operations case, and we change the state to closed complete. You could, in step 5, also just delete that case because it's just a temporary record, it's a transient record, or you can keep it and close it. One thing I did not do, and we'll see this in a minute, is I did not assign a service to the case. And if you're planning on keeping this temporary case, then it's probably a good idea to create a service for it, just so it's in there when you do it. And if you do that service, then you're going to want to set one of the case options to skip the acceptance, the automated or the acceptance period thing. Okay, so that is our flow, or subflow, I should say. And then we use this create code snippet. We copy this out and to create a UI action, so to call this subflow which takes care of all this for us. So that UI action is going to be right here. And this is a simple UI action on that case table. And all it's doing is we paste in what we had in that script. We're going to give it the input as the current case. And we just do a little info message here to let the user know that the case is going to be created, that the task is going to be created. All right, so now let's see this in action. So I actually already clicked on the create justification task, and we can see that it created this task, and this is what we looked at in the beginning of this video. So it created this task for Able Tutor. I think I'm still impersonating Abel. Let me see here. I'll do a refresh. Yes, okay. So Able Tutor has this task, and this task is actually a submit catalog item. And what I love about this task is that, or this task type, I should say, is that it puts that catalog item right inside of the parent case. So it really looks like it belongs in the case. It looks like a ask for employee input would in the same way. So I can provide my things, my justification here with bullet points. And whatever formatting I can want to do in HTML. I click submit, and I get the task completed up here along with some RCA errors, and it sends me back to the parent case the whole time. As an added bonus, I mentioned this because it kind of grinds my gears on the collect employee input. When you do the collect employee input task and you submit it, it tells you about, thank you for submitting your survey or something like that, which is very confusing for end users. This doesn't do that. It just sends you right back to this case, which is nice. So now if we go back to our case here, we'll do a refresh. We can see that the task is complete. And if we go into our work notes, we can see the HTML that was supplied by Able Tutor on the input. It's an unordered list with the 2 list items. That's here. And we can see this case that was created here. And like I said, I mentioned this before, it's in the awaiting acceptance state because it doesn't have a service. If you're planning on keeping this case, it's a good idea to create some kind of service just so it has a service and you can get rid of this awaiting acceptance and go straight to close complete. And you can see that it wrote to the description field, here. So that's it. That's the whole solution. Like I said, or I've mentioned this a few times, you can either hang on to this or you can just delete it in the flow. That's another possibility. One more thing I will mention, because I did try this, and you might be thinking, well, why don't you just use that record producer to write directly to the case, right? If we go back to our record producer, why don't you just find the parent and update the originating case instead of creating that new temporary case and then copying the data back? And the answer is I tried that, but I was unable to do it. So I had some code in here. Actually, it's probably in a previous version. Let me see if I go back. I think it's in this version. Okay, and let's go back. Okay, here we go. So here is where I tried doing a glide record on the parent and then adding to the work notes and the rich description, setting the values directly. And I put this info message in to get the display value of this case. However, it did not. It doesn't find the case. It doesn't know about that for some reason. It seems to work down here. I get the current.parent because it gives me the sysid back, but this won't find the parent. So we have to go through this sort of workaround-ish thing where we create the record and with the record producer and then go and grab it, and then we can go delete it afterwards. But so I did try this. There might be, maybe I need to do a current.parent.sysid. I could try that. I think I did try that. But But in any event, I couldn't get that to work. Would love to, if you could get it to work, would love to hear about it in the comments. So please let me know. So that's it. That's our solution here for an HTML field, gathering employee input or collecting employee input with an HTML field using a catalog item instead of an employee form. Thanks for watching.